What's up, guys? It's Patricia from tarantulaheaven.com. Today, for Tarantula Tuesday, I wanted to share a little bit of information about spiders, tarantulas, and insects that maybe we don't think sleep, but possibly do. I've shared about this a few times on the channel before, and as I come across new information, it's clear that we still have a lot of work to do in discovering if spiders do sleep or how they sleep at least. But I did rediscover some information that I wanted to share with you. And before I get going, this is Miss Spidey. She's my G Rosea. She is possibly sleeping right now. She's been very still all day. So she's resting. Anyway, I wanted to share something that I read quite a bit ago from a book that I actually bought for therapy purposes because I'm a therapist. It is called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, Dr. Matthew Walker. This is an amazing book. And of course, me as a therapist, I have marked this all up because there's so many things about sleep and disrupted or lack of sleep, unsatisfactory sleep that is tied to not only many physical ailments, but also mental health ailments. So I bought this for help with my clients and to learn a little bit more about how sleep was perhaps exasperating several mental health issues that they were having. But I ended up reading something about spiders in here, and I recently reread this book because it's such a gem. If you're having sleep issues, I totally recommend that you buy it. It's amazing. But there was one particular part of this book that actually talked about spiders and insects, and so I wanted to read that to you. Let me see. Okay. So here's what Dr. Matthew Walker says about animals and sleep. And the chapter, it's part of chapter 4, and the chapter is called Ape Beds, Dinosaurs, and Napping with Half a Brain, which is so interesting because we really consider tarantulas and animals like tarantulas to have zero brain. So what he says is, without exception, every animal species studied to date sleeps or engages in something remarkably like it. This includes insects, such as flies, bees, cockroaches, and scorpions, fish, from small perch to the largest of sharks, amphibians, such as frogs, and reptiles, such as turtles, Komodo dragons, and chameleons. All have sleep. Ascend the evolutionary ladder further, and we find that all types of birds and mammals sleep, from shrews to parrots, kangaroos, polar bears, bats, and of course, we humans. Sleep is universal. Even invertebrates such as primordial mollusks and echinoderms, probably saying that wrong, and even very primitive worms enjoy periods of slumber. In these phases, affectionately termed lethargists, they, like humans, become unresponsive to external stimuli. And just as we fall asleep faster and sleep more soundly when sleep deprived, so too do worms, defined by their degree of insensitivity to prods from experimenters. So that's very interesting because I know that's something that I've talked about in my other videos about tarantulas or spiders and sleep. Does mention that we have all had those moments with our spiders where they seem almost like Spidey is right now, just completely insensitive to stimuli, where a tarantula will perhaps normally in a regular state be very sensitive to their enclosure opening or the touch of a paintbrush or us filling their water dish or perhaps even a feeder being in the enclosure. There are periods of time in your tarantula's life where it'll actually take quite a bit for that tarantula to kind of like wake up, and they almost appear very startled, like as if they had been in a deep sleep or resting state. And it probably looks way different than the kind of sleep that we have, but it is clear that they do have some sort of hibernation state that counts as rest and their own form of sleep. And here's a little side note that Dr. Matthew Walker writes as far as studies that have been done on insects and their sleep and other animals or creatures that we didn't think have legitimate sleep. So he says, proof of sleep in very small species such as insects, in which recordings of electrical activity from the brain are impossible, is confirmed using the same set of behavioral features described in Chapter 3. Immobility, reduced responsiveness to the outside world, and it's easily reversible. A further criterion is that depriving the organism of what looks like sleep could result, or should result, in an increased drive for more of it when you stop the annoying deprivation assault, reflecting sleep rebound. It was once thought that sharks did not sleep, in part because they never closed their eyes. Indeed, they do have clear active and passive phases that resemble wake and sleep. We now know that the reason they never close their eyes is because they have no eyelids. So I think that is silly. But anyway, I think that from what we know about spider eyes, I don't think they have eyelids. And I also think that they also have active and resting states like sharks. They also have that startle response. They also have immobile periods. So that is an unexpected piece of information that I came upon in this book about humans and sleep. And in rereading it, I just got reminded of it. And I was like, I need to share this because I'd read this book years ago, I believe. And I think it might have been before I started my YouTube channel. So I hope that that was interesting for you, and definitely do, if you are interested in health, sleep, or psychology, pick up the Why We Sleep book by Dr. Matthew Walker. It is amazing, and it really does show how important our sleep is for humans and probably also animals. All right, guys, take care. Happy Tarantula Tuesday. Bye.